From the beginning, the idea of the game was revolution. Naturally, I thought of the Russian Revolution. However, I soon realized a game in a historical setting wasn't going to work. That's how steampunk came to mind. Basically, I love the genre. It's visually attractive and gave me a chance to take a deep approach in game design. It's not only about gears and copper pipes, it's also a social confrontation, tension, social inequality. Once we settled on steampunk, I searched for ways to implement it into the game. These interesting concepts came to life. One was the modular board, a different, new city every game, which meant more replayability. It was pretty quick to get it made. Next came the concept that it wasn't just any city, but a drifting city in the sky, and that proved to be very natural for steampunk. The flying parts of the city can move around. Soon, I came up with a new mechanic of repositioning the city districts, which wasn't there in the game originally. Generally, the game relies on two key principles. The first and the most important is to organize riots. Citizens of different social classes live in the city. Each class joins the riot when discontent in the city reaches a certain level. The players who are trying to ignite a rebellion need to identify citizens in different districts and get them to join the riot. The riot mechanics form the basis of the whole game. We know rebellions are born in secrecy. This brings us to the second key principle. The opposing side wants to figure out what the rebels are going to do and try to stop them. This is where we got hidden movement added to the game as well as police raid, and we also included the need to use access cards for rebels to enter certain districts. All the while, the rebels are still trying to incite riots. This game is a bit different from other games with hidden movement. Typically, it's one player that's hiding from a group of other players who try to find them. I went with the opposite of that. Rebels can't just be a single person. It's an organized group of individuals with their own motivations, their own reasons for revolution. And the counter of that is a single authority who wants to stop them. So we have several players hiding and one player hunting them down. The game has a deep background. At the same time, we took the approach that a game tells its own story through its mechanics, through events that happen with the player characters. A story doesn't happen just because you read the text on a card that has little to no connection to the events in the game. Personally, I enjoy a game when the backstory isn't forced on me. I prefer to come to my own understanding as I play it. That's what I tried to create with City of the Great Machine. Which brings us to the event system. Each event has a name that goes along with its several effects and how it influences gameplay. We thought over each event, how to make it tell the story by how it changes the game. The players will feel it as they play. I want them to experience the unfolding story that they create with each new session, not just repeating the same story over and over. For the most part, luck will not help you. However, yes, there are two situations in the game where you roll a die. It adds a bit of randomness, but it's totally possible to play the whole game and never use them. They're not key parts of the strategy, but they add another layer to the decision-making. It doesn't affect the outcome of the game, most of the time. Overall, victory or defeat is determined by the decisions made by the players, their ability to read the situation, to come up with complex and unexpected plans, to unravel plans of their own opponents, to use resources wisely, and to seize every opportunity they get. There are some places where luck might help you, but you won't win from it alone. The visual design of the game, in my opinion, turned out wonderful. It was a very long and difficult process to get what we wanted. In the end, the final result is really impressive. You can see a lot of small details in the artwork. We didn't just want simple, good-looking pictures. They have particular meanings and tell their own stories related to their role in the game. For instance, they're servants of the Great Machine. They have their own individual looks represented in miniatures and illustrations, and it fits perfectly with the abilities they gain in one of the expansions. By the way, our testers immediately noticed this. This is true for almost every game component. Each was created after many drafts as we diligently looked for the ideal form. What we have now, in my opinion, looks really cool and authentic. The artwork perfectly captures the setting of the game and emphasizes its mechanics, which is very important.